I'm nervous about this one. Okay, so a bit of a backstory. I have a private mentoring group that I mentor once a week. This week they asked me to take them through how I do my TA in the morning. And so I decided to turn that into a YouTube video because it was rather detailed and I thought it could probably help more people than just my private group. Now, why am I nervous about this? So here's the thing. I've always been nervous about giving TA because I'm aware that people follow blindly and that bothers me. So I'm very much about giving the education so that you can make your own decisions and very careful not to post charts without giving a full description so that you can understand what I'm thinking, number one, but also why I wouldn't take the trade at the time if it didn't give me everything I need. So, and sometimes that's the part that gets missed. And so this week they asked me to take them through right from scratch how I do my TA in the morning and what influences my decisions. So that's what this video is about today. So let's get into it.
Question from Alicia. She's asked Danny if you could go through a few naked charts to chart them up, to then chart them and explaining what you were seeing.
Okay, so on the daily, I start with, I'll get rid of this because I don't need it. Nothing, no indicators or anything like that. And I just draw in the most recent highest price. I don't really include wicks that much, sometimes if they're relevant. And the lowest kind of area, so support and resistance. Then I'm looking for channels is the only thing I'll draw in, so I can sort of see, you know how I told you I don't trade patterns? Yep. I don't trade patterns, but this, if it looks like a channel, I will take note of that. In order for me to confirm that, I'll switch to line. And I only draw my channels off the line chart. So I'll draw that in because that tells a much better story. So that creates more of a wedge than a channel, which I take note of, but I don't like. This gives a better example because if I go to here, see, then I would end up drawing it like that, right? Which is a channel heading down. But if I change it to line, and you have to go from the second peak, it's a break and retest. So it's two different things. So I'll draw it in just to get an idea, but I don't trade based off these two lines. So they're just there for now. See if I can find any supply demand zones, which I'm very, very strict on where I put them. So I don't actually see any here. Some may draw that one as one, just to give you, and I'll tell you why they would. So they would draw that because the market fell away afterwards and we pierced it here. I don't. I only draw supply and demand. If there's a massive dump like this one here, then that would have become my supply until it got broken. But these where it's only a little drop and then comes straight back up, I don't personally draw them as supply or demand. So I wouldn't draw it on that. I probably would draw it here. So now I've got a bottom target. If we happen to go down, my top target would just be off resistance. So that's on the daily. Then things might change when I get to the, that's all I would do on the daily. So go down to the 4 hour and then I see if it changes on the line chart. Then if I do have a channel like this, I count the touches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's usually, when you're in a channel, there's usually 5 touches, a failed attempt, then a move. So what I would be anticipating with this is a move down to here, fail, push up, which is not positive right now. The other thing I might do, is now move this, because I'm on a 4 hour, I want to move it to be more relevant. And I'm just looking for the actual point. So to me, this is true support and resistance, because you can see the exact points rather than going off candles. And sometimes you kind of think, oh, I think it might be there, but this tells you a much better picture. So I'd probably put it there. And the reason I chose that is because I've got that point, I've got these points in here, I've got these points here. So that to me looks like a better resistance. And then I've got these points, it pushed up here, a few more points here. So that's my support. Go back to candles. Now I want to see, can I find any supply and demand on the 4 hour? This takes a while. Hang on one sec. So I'm going to refine my daily one, because now I can drag it down to the exact candle. Right, so that was my daily one. This right here is the supply. So I'm going to refine it down to that candle, which I think that's about right. And then actually, if I end up shorting, this is how I pick my target. I will draw fibs in the zone, so from the bottom to the top. And then I draw a trend line exactly on the 50. And then I mark 50. Usually, if price comes back, it hits the 50 line. So that's my target, usually.
So is that to do a short or a long, Annie?
That would be if I'm shorting. But you could also take a long from there and like hope it reverses the other way. But that then is counter trend trading. So yeah, that would be my target if I was going to short today, which I still haven't decided at this point. So then now I'm going to try and find the zone above on the 4 hour. That's my 4 hour demand, I think. If at any point you don't get why I'm doing something, just yell out and ask. I'm not sure. Okay, so that's my 4 hour supply and demand now. So this is basically my channel that I'm dealing with. I'm going to get rid of these now because they're confusing me. Now horizontally, I want to see what's going on. So I'm probably going to move this up to about there, and then down here. So this is the area now that I'm dealing with. So now it goes to market structure. So I've got a high, a lower high, a higher high, a lower low. So that tells me there's possible market structure happening. And so now there's no trade right now, but I need to wait to see if we create a lower high like that before we head down. So if we reject off, yeah, probably this area. Yeah, around here somewhere. That would be a good short. So then I'm going to draw that in, see if it matches up. So if I took my short off there, that would be my stop. What did that 50 line do?
Oh, I see why you draw the supply and demand zone. So that's where you take your risk reward ratio tool down to either way that you're going.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's what I'm thinking at this point. Then for a long, I don't know, my bias is short, but if I think more long term, then that actually hasn't created a lower low to that one or that one. So this could be a day trade opportunity. The other thing to keep in mind is that there technically could be a channel around here. which is actually moving up, right? So you've got to think about that as well. And in that situation, it's the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, fail. No, it would still go down. It should still go down. Do you understand what I'm saying when I count that? So you've got the points that go here, here, here. This is what usually happens in a channel, right? Then you get the failed attempt to touch the top again, then it falls, which would usually create a double top or a head and shoulders. So in this particular situation, right? And the target being the same. So yeah.
Well, that's good. Jasmine just said it's new knowledge to her, the 5-point touch.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not a rule, like it can happen in 3 or whatever, but if you're channeling for a while, look for that failed attempt to get to the top or the bottom of your channel. All right, so I'm still thinking short with everything I've worked out now. And the last thing I'm going to do then is put on the EMAs. And they tell me short. Let's just see what fibs does. Yeah, so if we get back to my entry, it's between the 51 and 68, which is the perfect entry.
What you're saying is on the retrace, when it gets back to 9348.50 is when you would do a short because it'll bounce back. Is that what you're saying?
Pending on the candle pattern at that point. So if we got back up here, and then there was a big green bullish engulfing, I'm not going to short it.
Okay.
So
yeah.
It still comes back to the candles at the time, but my feeling for now is short. There's a double top here, but price moved up here. So that's something to take note of. Just adds to my thinking of short. So
which one do you follow then?
I just consider it. I don't follow in particular. I just consider that that's telling me something. But I would still then, so I've drawn in my resistance on that. I would draw in my support on that. And you can see here that we've got a break in support. This should be the retest of support. So if RSI now comes up to here at the same time that price comes up to here, it's just going to give me more confidence in my short. All right, so since filming this video, some time has passed, so I thought I'd just give you an update as to what happened with this trade. Did I get in? What did I do? Okay, so at the time of our lesson, we were around this area here, building a flag on the 1 hour. The smaller the time frame, the less you can expect the move to be. So let's just see what ended up happening with this trade. Now, at this point here, you can see we had a break of the flag and a retest. That could be an opportunity to get into a short scalp. However, it's important to note that when you are on a smaller time frame, your target should generally be smaller. So this trade didn't end up getting back to my target, so therefore I did not get into this trade. And this is where we're currently sitting now. So what does this mean for us now? Back to the 4 hour. Let's see if there is currently a trade opportunity. And again, on the 4 hour, it looks like we are also building a bear flag, which could end up being a bigger play. So once again, we start again waiting for the touches up to the top of this channel. However, it's still early. What could happen is this, which will get up to our 61.8 before we break down. or we could still have a break, retest, and down. Either way, whatever the play is, my target still remains the same at this point, which is around the 9,000 mark, depending on what price does next. And if you haven't seen it yet, I do have a day trading strategy using EMAs on this channel, so I will link that somewhere here for you to watch, as well as a Binance futures tutorial if that is a platform that you're interested in trading. In the comments below, you'll also see a link for Binance Futures. If you haven't already set it up, it will get you 10% off your exchange fees, which is awesome. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave me a comment down below. Let me know what else you'd like to see. I'm so open to suggestions. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe so that I can bring you a lot more YouTube content in the future. So until next time, I will see you soon. Enjoy trading.